Put your foot in.
The cystic fibrosis community is invited to participate in a series of videos on individuals that are living, breathing, succeeding with cystic fibrosis. This video, Starting a Family, was made possible through an unrestricted educational grant from Genentech to the Esiason Foundation. A little over a decade ago, marriage and starting a family seemed to be an unthinkable dream for adults with CF. Through advancements in treatment of the disease and being compliant, the dream is now a reality. Today you will meet Karen Vega, the mother of twin boys and an athlete that is living, breathing, succeeding with CF.
My name is Karen Vega. I'm 29 years old and I have cystic fibrosis. I was diagnosed when I was 8 months old. I also have a brother who's 26 who also has CF. I went to Fordham University and I worked down on Wall Street for 6 years, and recently I became a stay-at-home mom. When we decided that it was time for us to have children, we sat down with my doctor and we discussed my PFT range, and they wanted PFTs above 70%, which I had at the time, and they've been stable for the past few years. They also suggested that my husband went for genetic screening, so we went and we had the Ambry amplified test done, and he came back negative as a carrier for CF, so we got the green light to go ahead trying. My doctors didn't have too many medical concerns about me becoming pregnant. My lung function was stable and high enough to carry a pregnancy. I'm pancreatic sufficient, so weight gain wasn't an issue. And they did warn about pregnancy-related diabetes can sometime linger and turn into CF-related diabetes, so that was one risk, but it wasn't a huge one. An amniocentesis was never mentioned to me during my pregnancy. Since my husband was tested, they didn't see any risk of them having cystic fibrosis. After I found out I was pregnant, we met with a nutritionist to go over my daily calorie intake and just to make sure I was putting the right kind of nutrients into my body to support both me and the baby. And when I found out I was having twins, I really had to up my calorie intake, and I gained 40 pounds over a 7-month pregnancy, so really didn't have too much of an issue with that. I continued using Pulmozyme, hypertonic saline, azithromycin, and Advair. I was on IVs towards the later end of my pregnancy in the 3rd trimester. I was on ceftazidime, and I would normally be on tobramycin as well, but we chose not to do tobramycin due to potential hearing loss. I did continue using the vest. As I got bigger, we just opened up the straps until it no longer fit me. At about 7 months, it didn't fit me any longer. And I did manual CPT to myself in the morning, and my husband would help me do it in the evening. In preparation for the pregnancy, I did have a tune-up to make sure my lungs were as bug-free as they could be to hopefully hold me over for the next 9 months. My lung function slightly declined during pregnancy because of the limited airspace that I had due to carrying the babies. I did see my CF doctors more often. I saw them every 2 months instead of every 3 months. I also saw my obstetrician every month and had ultrasounds every month to make sure the babies were going properly. And I think that was a combination of having CF and having twins. During my pregnancy, I was able to keep up my same routine. I continued working, commuting to the city. It was after the babies were born that I had to rely on my husband and family a lot more. I started having contractions when I was 32 weeks pregnant, and I went into the hospital. They monitored me over the weekend, and one of the baby's heart rates was dipping a bit, and they weren't very comfortable with that. So I had an emergency C-section done at 32 weeks. The boys are extremely healthy. Their genetic screen came back negative for CF. They've had hardly any illnesses. They're the picture of health. They didn't have a sweat test. I discussed it with my doctor, but because my husband had the Ambry amplified done and their newborn screen was negative, we didn't feel the need to pursue it any further. A CF mom can successfully breastfeed. I met with a nutritionist to go over my calorie intake because you do have to increase your calorie quite a bit to get enough nutrition for both you and the baby. Having newborn twins at home puts quite a strain on your body. There's significant lack of sleep, so the ability to bounce back from what could be minor infections is very hard. Typically, lung function usually returns to normal. I had a very hard first 6 months. I wound up with kidney stones, the flu, and laryngitis, and my lung function did plummet below 50%.
Wow, that's a lot, huh?
Yeah, that was a lot.
thing
That was rough. Here, you gonna help me? Want to put on Elmo? We'll put Elmo on quiet, okay? The thing that has helped me balance family and CF the most is having a routine. The children have gotten very used to my morning routine. I will turn on the TV for them and sit down and do my best, and they've seen that done every day. So they're very used to that routine. They know it's something that mommy does every morning. They usually sit with me. They like the way the bouncing of the vest feels on them, and they like helping me put in the tubes. So it's something they've grown up with and they're very used to it. I have help at home. My mother lives in the apartment downstairs, and she helps from small things, folding laundry, doing dishes, to when I'm on IVs, she'll come with me to Mommy and Me classes and helps me with the boys when I can't physically do certain things with them. Sometimes the boys definitely knock me out with all their energy, but exercising has definitely increased my stamina and energy, and I bring them with me to the park and we'll go running or jogging in the stroller, and they enjoy that, and then we'll play in the park, so we make it a family thing.
Have you always exercised?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, okay. So let's talk about that. Like, when
Okay.
did you start running?
April.
So you started running around the time when you signed up for the marathon?
Yes, I signed up for the marathon and then I bought a pair of running shoes. My lung function before I started running, my FEV1 was actually around 50% and my FVC was in the 60s. 2 months before the marathon, my FEV1 was 109 and my FVC was 126.
Wow, that's awesome.
My baseline was 70 and low 90s.
And it went above.
And it went above that.
Wow.
My plan is to tell the boys about CF as they ask. Right now, it's all they know. They know about my vesting routine, but I'm sure as they get friends, they go to friends' houses, they'll start to question how I do things a little differently, and I'm just going to tell them the truth as the questions come up. The biggest CF challenges I face are having time. Devoting time to treatments and exercising. It's very easy when you have 2 children screaming or crying to not want to do those things, but you just have to sit them down and say, this is what mommy needs to do, or you just have to go outside, bring them with you, go running, and you have to make it a priority. Being a mom is the most rewarding yet difficult job I have ever had. It's not something to be taken lightly. It's a very serious decision. I would suggest making sure that you are in top shape. If you aren't compliant with your treatments, get compliant, start exercising, get your health in top shape. We haven't rolled out having more children. I would definitely like to have another child. Bye. Bye-bye. Jane, say bye-bye. Come on. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.